this meeting to order. This is the Town Council work session for Wednesday, August 27th. It is 6 p.m. We do have a quorum of council members present. Councilman Toolson is on, she is on travel, and actually she's probably on a plane right now, so she is not able to participate remotely. So she is absent from this evening. Let the record also show that we have Town Clerk Hurd, Billing Clerk Bowers, and in a moment, Town Administrator Aitken will dash back into the room. So with that, can I go ahead and get a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda
It's been moved.
as written.
Thank you. By Councilman Ellis, second.
Second it.
Seconded by Councilman Bitter. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have approved the agenda. Now I have to wait for that. There he is.
You didn't run, did you?
The copy took forever.
Blame the copier. Okay, here we go. So
Thank you.
the first item on the agenda, give you 60 seconds to catch your breath, is the administrator's update. So whenever you're ready, Administrator Aitken.
All right.
This is gonna be a show and tell, isn't it?
Yes, it
It
is.
is. So, we've been talking a lot about water meters, right? I did
Sorry.
So I just wanted to show, we have done some testing, we've tried to do some things, but we budgeted roughly $500,000 to replace residential meters. There's a number of reasons for that, right? So, I know that my approach to problems is probably not traditional for someone in this role, and the reason for that is because I didn't have a traditional job in the past. So I was used to getting lied to, and I'm very suspicious of information. So I try to look at it, kind of a trust but verify, or to look at what we can do when we don't look at things that way. If we want solution A, then we'll look for information that supports that. And that's not what I do. Being a police officer, I had to look at both sides and make a determination on what looks valid versus what doesn't. So, I don't want to be the guy that comes in and blows through all the reserves or recommends it, like, hey, spend all this money, but there are some problems with meters and with our water system that we're trying to get ahead of. So, I know change is hard, and when someone has their own opinions or thoughts, it's hard to get people to want to listen to new information. But, just an example of that, I'm going to stand up, I got to pace around, but I'm going to pass these out to you. But if you look at some things from history, my son's a World War II buff, but he was always talking about Abraham Wald. So if you know who that was, when the Allied planes would fly out and come back on bombing runs, they were all shot up. So Abraham was into statistics, and they had a team looking at the planes, and so they mapped out everywhere these red dots where the planes got shot, right? So you can see back there, but you guys can look at this if you want. So this team decided, let's armor these planes up where the bullholes are. And Abraham said, no. These planes survived. You need to armor the planes where there's no holes, because those are the ones that make it back. So we took a different approach to the information, and it made a difference in saving lives. So that's what we're trying to do here with our water system. So let's talk about the meters. Very dated technology. The meters, the majority of them have exceeded their life expectancy, 10 years, but I know that people want, we'll test them all, do this, do that. We've looked at a whole bunch of stuff, Zach and the water department, on how can we do that. And we've done some tests here and there, but when I got here, there were a couple of bucketfuls of dead meters. We recycled them, right? And probably, that was maybe 9 months ago, so probably 5-6 months ago, we did another batch that we recycled. We weren't counting how many had gone dead, but in the last couple of months, these 7 have died. So let's talk about these meters. This is what we're attracting water with. So I'm gonna hold on to this one for a second. But, we'll pass this one around first. Okay, this came out of the ground.
Wow.
So typically what happens.
If you wanna just hold it and show us, I'm good with that
If you
too.
guys wanna come look at it, you can. But they have a manufacture date, this is the transmitter. So our guys will drive around in the truck with Bluetooth, and this will send the data, like, this is how much gallons was used off of this meter, right? And we don't go look at everybody's meter. If it's reporting, why would we? There's no problem. But this has a manufacture date of October 2009.
2009, did you say?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this one died,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
16 years ago,
Yeah, well,
put in.
I don't know why this one died, but I'm not even gonna bother to speculate, you know?
I'll tell you what.
If you die in a plane crash, there's no use doing an autopsy, right?
Yeah, okay.
But there's a couple others that died as well. These are all old and green and they're corroded.
What are they all have different manufacture dates? Which
They
is that
do.
inside like the cover on all of them, or is it very?
They're in different spots, but a
Yeah.
lot of them, this is 4 of 2010.
Okay. Just out of
This
curiosity.
one is, let's see, 10 of 09.
Okay.
Okay, we have.
Yeah, it's just
So,
curious.
but typically, and some of the transmitters just died too. But when you have, if you have things that are battery powered and the batteries start going dead on the one that's in the ground, if they're sitting on the shelf too, the batteries are ticking as well. So these other two are pretty interesting, alright? So this one, I don't know what it had on there before, but it reset itself back to 0 and went to 6 gallons and stopped. So you can see on there, this has been in the ground a long time.
I gotcha.
Wow.
But why did that happen? I couldn't tell you, right? 6 gallons on there. I gotta think that this was underreported, right?
Is that Ron Dennis? I'm kidding.
There's another one here that was that reset itself to 0 too. Sorry to put that date on there.
Reset was probably,
I don't know what date is on that one.
Oh, yeah, power
Yeah,
surge.
Power
Yeah.
surge.
Could be lightning strike, I don't know. Zach had the dates on these, I don't know where they are, but they're
But there was no way of knowing that that was dead
not until the guys drive along and get their
and
battery.
actually do it. Yeah.
So this month, we had 24 meters that didn't read. So what we have to do there, the guys drive around Bluetooth, and when you get back, look at the data, well, these 24 didn't read. Of course, they're not all on one street. So the next day, we have to send guys out, 2 guys. So you gotta crawl down, pull this out of the ground, take a picture, log the data, come back and add it. And sometimes the read was bad, or sometimes the meter has a problem. So that's how we find out when they die. But you can see these aren't in very good condition. But this one right here is of concern because there's a particular member of the water board who has told me it's not a problem with these over-report usage. So we went through some employees here because we have a code of conduct for our employees. I mean, among other things, we believe in honesty, integrity, hard work, and family values here. And anyone who can't live up to that can't work here, including me. I wouldn't work here if the town were okay if we overbilled people. So this one, Zach took it, we tried some tests on it when it died, and he took some air and he shoots some air in there. And while there's pressure, the meter should go. But when he pulls the hose off, it could keep spinning for a while.
Oh,
So the reason that's a concern is because we do get air in our lines at times.
yep.
When the springs fluctuate, sometimes they suck air. We do have air that comes through the line that we could bill some people for air. That's probably not a great thing, and I don't have any reason to believe there's a ton of meters out there doing that, because typically, these are old meters, there's 2 gears in them, when the water moves, it moves the gears. Okay?
Okay.
Those can fail and over-report if the gears get stuck and move at the same time, instead of independently. It's not very common, though. But usually over time, the gears wear out, takes more resistance to move them, so they're not moving as fast as they should. The meters we're looking at now are ultrasonics. There's no gears in them. It's just, it measures the actual water flow. So you can play with these, look at them, look at the manufacture dates, but these are the things that are dying and coming out of the ground. So
And it's always been the philosophy that these should be replaced, even these older ones, every 10 years.
Yes.
Max.
yeah. I looked up the Water Managers Association. It deals with all of the water managers across the United States, big letters, replace residential meters every 10
10
years.
years. Okay,
You know, the newer technology with the ultrasonics are supposed to be rated for 20 years. The warranty we looked at on them, if it dies within 10, they replace it. If it's over 10, it's prorated. That's the
okay.
Neptunes we're looking at.
But you can, I mean, you can for sure go over 10 years is what you're saying, but, yeah, you're gonna start to have failures.
These are much lesser meters than the new ones.
Okay.
I think the new ones that we're looking at will last 20 years. We're very close to it. But these old ones, some of these are like an off-brand and they don't even manufacture, or they didn't stop manufacturing these. We're paying $500 a meter roughly to replace these. Because if you buy one at a time, you're paying
Yeah,
premium.
premium price.
If you buy a chunk, you can get the discount.
Mhm.
So the Neptunes we're looking at, what's that?
The one you just picked up.
Yeah, Old Henry.
Old Henry.
And this is something else you're supposed to hear. You can hear the
Hear it.
gears rattling in.
Yeah, mhm.
That was the first sign when we first got this.
When you put the air in it, it just was freewheeling and spinning
I
around.
just, regular eye hose at the shop,
Yeah.
I heat it and let off of it and watched it count nearly 2 gallon, made us hold it like it is with nothing to it. So, and that's just the one.
Yeah,
Some of them, like Trevor mentioned, like these, we got some that's 2006.
Yep.
I mean, and
yeah.
Cincy, they don't even, I know they was talking, hey, why can't we, they don't even make parts for them anymore, so.
Right.
I didn't, sorry.
No,
That's
no,
great.
thank you.
Stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
So part of this is efficiency, right? The new meters will just report back to the office, and we don't have to send someone out for the day driving around 8 hours in the truck. Now, the rereads, 24 rereads, probably took 2 guys 6 to 8 hours. So do the math, 25 or $30 an hour times 2,
Yep.
times 8 hours, not real efficient. Now, the real concern here, though, is I've sat through water board meetings, I've talked to our engineer, math is different there, I can't follow what the water board suggests as our actual intake and outgoing water.
okay.
And the reason, so I can't tell anybody, do we have enough water to full build out? Or even today, I mean, coming up here in a year or two, we don't actually know how much water comes into our system and goes out. So until we know, we can't honestly answer that question. So that's why I think it's imperative, and we've discussed this, but this is what we're trying to replace. There are some newer than this, but it would be real problematic to have 2 systems out there.
Yeah.
It's doable, not advisable. That brings us to the next part of this, though, is the meters coming in, the intake meters, or the large meters we call them. We thought we could get a fluke tester to calibrate those, or a calibration for around $10,000 to $15,000. It's been very problematic because it's broken up into sections, who can sell it, who can't. We finally got someone who would give us a quote, never got it. Scott got on the phone and got nasty with it and said, oh, we fired that guy last week. So it's taken a lot of time to get, but we finally got the quotes. And the quotes on the testers, and Scott has to look a little more on the 2 they sent. One was $66,000, and one was about $30,000.
30, right? Yeah.
But you have to do like a $5,000 software upgrade every year on them, so it's not an easy answer. And Dan, his last name was Corin Main, was supposed to give me a quote for how much is it to replace the 7 big meters we have. He tried to get it today, he didn't get it in today, but he's thinking it's around $30,000. We budgeted $100,000 to replace the meters. It would be my recommendation we still do that if the quote comes in similar to what he's saying. Then we can send those old ones in, have them calibrated, put them on a shelf, airtight box, and have them for an emergency. And maybe we can look at them and say, hey, these were dead on, or these were way out of spec.
And do we get the tool as well?
No,
The calibration
no tool.
tool? No. Or, I'm saying, in addition to the cost of those, are you proposing that we get a calibration tool?
Let's see what the quote comes in on. I'll send it to you for review, maybe.
Related question. How often are the meters supposed to be recalibrated?
There's not a definitive answer to that we found. Most cities, like bigger cities do it every year, some do it every other year. We've contacted multiple companies, so is Core and Main on our behalf. Nobody will come this side of Boise that we can find. We've offered to pay extra money, like, yeah, we'll put you up in motels, just come calibrate them, and no one will bite. They all say, take them out, send them in, and we'll calibrate them in-house.
There's nothing in Salt Lake.
Not that will come up here. We've been trying for almost
Yeah.
a year and got nothing.
But the jury's still out on whether we would want to calibrate and test them ourselves.
Yeah, we'll have to look at $30,000 and then $5,000 a year
Yeah.
versus if we have the ones.
But if it's $5,000 a year and you keep, and you have accurate calibration and reporting, I mean, maybe it's worth it. I don't.
Probably.
Yeah, right, it's annual maintenance.
But point is, until we know what's coming in, one of the meters isn't even hooked up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a
yeah,
problem.
no,
Yeah, so that-
This is down the line.
I think
Yeah.
and so the cost of this calibration tool, though, that's significant, at least the quote that we've gotten is now, that's significantly higher than what we expected. Weren't we more in the neighborhood of like, we thought it would cost
Three
10
times.
10,
5,000?
15,
Yeah, or
probably
maybe 10. So, you know, just saying we went ahead and got the $30,000 calibration tool, and then we go out to calibration to do that with the meters. Can we execute the actual calibration function in-house? And then what if we determine that a couple of those meters are junk?
Yeah.
And then we have to replace them anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then there's $5,000 a year on top of it. It's not starting to add up to me. I liked the idea of us trying to be able to do that in-house, but
Well,
I know we're still waiting for more info at this point with what does it cost to replace the meters and all that, but it doesn't sound as promising to me to do it that way anymore.
but our objective is to replace the 7 intake meters.
That's what I would recommend
Yeah.
to do, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we talked about at the budget.
But until we know what comes in from the wells in the
Yeah.
spring and what goes out, we cannot calculate.
Agreed.
Anything we try to calculate is
It's
mostly
a guess, yeah.
Junk.
So that is why, I know the water board is kind of at odds with me, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not opposed to anybody disagreeing with me, that's great. It causes us to be better with our information and look at it different ways, but I really think we need to replace these and replace the meters to figure this out. Kind of a top priority.
I think the water board, they were supportive of the larger meters being replaced, is that
Yes.
right? And it was the residential meters they're still really not
Right,
on board with, okay,
yes.
okay.
So, if there's no more questions on that, I'll just keep going down the list quickly, but, we had 4 people interested, and we had 1 open position, we had 4 people interested. We did 2 interviews last week, and I anticipate we'll offer a job on Tuesday to one of the candidates. I tried to call him, but he was on he's gonna be out of cell service this week, and
Okay.
we do that, but, Jacob Pepper's last day is gonna be tomorrow. I knew it was coming because he had some travel plans and they just got moved up a couple of weeks, but he's done an awesome job. I think he's been very good with the public and he's done a lot of work. And I hope that he comes back
Yeah.
next year. But I guess we'll discuss that in
Yeah,
a few months, maybe 6, 8, 9 months.
Before you move on from that, does the council have any comment about the seasonal SMO and how that went, or do you not get enough feedback? I had met and talked with him a couple of times and saw him out and about, and, so, I didn't know if anybody had any,
Well, it's a hard thing to,
yeah, because we're not following him around the town doing
how
stuff.
do you,
I can show you his work in iWorks. He logged almost everything he did. There's a ton of reports in there. He was very active. He took care of a lot of problems. Never said anything about it. He just would let me know when he had a problem. But he works through stuff very well.
Yeah, I ran into him a couple of times in various places around town. Seemed to be doing a nice job.
Okay, all right, thank you.
As planned, we paid off the lease on the mini excavator this week. It's $55,000. So we now own that piece of equipment. The Green Canyon tank lining, we should, it comes through Ryan, I haven't seen it, but we'll talk to him tomorrow. The letter of acceptance comes back from them for the mayor to sign, but that should be getting scheduled here real quick. I just don't, we get the letter this week, but it's, mine's been on the phone with them, it's coming. The Harbin chip seal project that Adele was supposed to do, that was some kind of miscalculation on their end. We closed the road and everything, HK rolled in, looked at it, and rolled out, and I don't feel like what's going on, so I'm gonna get some answers tomorrow, but that project has to get completed here very soon. So I'm gonna push that as hard as I can. So we're moving forward with the chip seal project. Our tar truck's here. Zach had a whole bunch of rock hauled in today. We can go over the numbers if you want, but there's some things that came a little higher, but the 3,500 tons of rock is what we needed, and it was such a massive amount. We were gonna pay $30 a ton, and Zach got it down to $18.65 a ton, so.
Mr. Negotiator.
The tar's gonna be slightly more expensive, but it all is gonna balance out, probably come in slightly under what we thought. So
Okay.
hopefully next week we don't have massive rain and warm temperatures. The plan is to do, just kind of as a test, the road in the Public Works at Fox Run Park, just to make sure we have it down, do layer on there, and then do Plat 21.
Oh, 21 and then?
And probably
Plat 5?
Vista,
Vista and then save 5.
just
Save
because
5.
I can't tell you
Whether,
what temperature.
yeah, and how things are
Gotcha.
gonna go.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Plat 5 is last on the list, and if we don't get to it, we'll do it in the spring. That's the plan, but
Okay.
that's where we're at today. Getting equipment, you know, the guys did a lot of work, got the spreaders on. It was gonna be $20,000 for Cat to put a water tank on the roller, and Zach said, yeah, I don't think so, so we got the same water tank for $380, couple attachments. It's on there.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, it's mounted now, just looking at the water hose, we're under $700. Let's do it.
So we're taking a different approach. I mean, it's safer for me to just tell everybody like, hey, sorry, we don't have money to do this, and we can only pay 1,000 feet of road, but that's not really a good answer, so we're trying to get things done and stay well within budget. Scott and Quentin just got back tonight from the level 1 septic inspection class. They gotta do level 2 one in October, I think, end of September, and then they'll be able to do septic inspections.
This is on the newer septic systems that we put in the ordinance.
We didn't actually do an ordinance though, did we?
Yeah, it's in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so I guess the question I have then is, a couple, did we put in a fee for that? Scott suggested
No.
$300, because I think that's what the county charges, the county is allegedly gonna raise that.
We did not put a fee in, but it was in the ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ken Koleski, the county planner, suggests that we adopt, because the county's working on adopting, which he didn't give me info, some kind of plan of a maintenance requirement, leak testing, access points, and a schedule that we require residents to follow up every 2, 5, 7, 10, whatever. But just look at that and have some kind of ordinance to make sure that's getting done.
Depending upon the age of the system, basically, you think?
You, depend on how size of your house. You should have
Size,
your-
okay.
Yeah, if you live, I'm gonna have to ask a little more questions on
Okay,
that.
okay.
Because he used to be in wastewater, but X amount of years, it needs to be,
That's, yeah, so I'm thinking age,
Should be
it's
pumped.
tied to the age.
yeah, and probably reach out to Bruce Hemming again, he had some info on that, so. Councilman Toolson and I met last Friday with the HOA board and their director. The meeting was great, went well, so I'll just hit the highlights of what we talked about there. So one of the things that is kind of a priority for them, and I don't know how this would work out logistically, but they would like to see a park in Plat 5. So there's a lot actually in Plat 4. I think it's Barberry and Brambleberry on the west side of that intersection. The Stewarts own a lot there that has, their sewer line goes under it. And there's a manhole cover there, so they aren't gonna build there. It's not a buildable lot. So we discussed, do we have to test the soil, make sure it's okay, and I got elected to talk to Tim Stewart. I did, I met with him. He had a lot to say. I said, I feel your pain, I agree with you, and he said, well, I'll get my family together in the next couple of weeks, we'll discuss what that would look like, and get back to you with information on that, and I don't know. So that's one of the things we talked about there. We also discussed the airstrip. HOA said they have no interest in selling that. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but we did talk about it would be possible to store snow there. They're not opposed to that at all, so Zach and I and Ernie, with the HOA, the Greens manager, we'll get together and discuss what that will be. Because the more we build out, the less places we have to push snow or blow snow. So we're trying to get ahead of a concern.
It sounds like that would be a great early, solution once we have to start doing that as far as a location for it.
It's, what, 700, 800 feet wide and a mile long?
Let's hope we don't fill that up.
No, that's a lot of snow.
This winter, Zach, this winter. He's just shaking his head.
I was asking for a 50 by 50 or something like that.
Discussion on short-term rentals, I don't think some of the ideas floated around were feasible. They asked, can you just do a massive deposit and every time they have an issue, you take money out of it? I think that violates due process and you can't do it that way. But a lot of conversation about that. So, a lot of talk about speeding, and again, please refer your comments to the sheriff because we don't enforce that. We briefly talked about the potential that there could be an annexation petition coming in the future. I don't think it would directly affect them, but just, we discussed it briefly, and then Julie Christensen brought up a lot of stuff about domestic violence, kind of wanted to talk to me about my experiences there, and kind of asked if we could host a forum about it. My opinion on that was it needs to start with the prosecuting attorney's office, get them to do whatever they're gonna do, then get the sheriff's office in agreement with that, and then it would go out to the public, so. I'll call the sheriff when I get time, and we'll see if they're willing to do something like that, but it's not really anything that we do or have. You know, we don't enforce that type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was conversations there with them, just those topics, and we plan to meet sometime, then schedule another meeting.
Okay.
So on the 21st, the mayor and I went to the hospital, they asked for another EMS meeting.
Not because we were injured.
Yeah.
And there were no real solutions or anything, it was more of a, what ideas do you have? There was someone, the Alpine Fire Chief was there, Thane and Alpine Mayor were there, Violet was there from Alpine, or Afton. Their kind of suggestion was maybe looking into a joint powers board. So they're gonna schedule another meeting sometime, nothing really was done, or it was just kind of a conversation about, here's where we are, what we wanna do. So no solutions, no solid ideas.
And they also, in addition to the Joint Powers Board, and the hospital was just, throwing out initial ideas. I believe they talked about possibly an EMS special district, trying to establish that. Of course, that got a lot of comment from the mayors, and the administrators, just from taxation standpoint, because that would mean additional mill levies for, residents. But again, the hospital's just looking for options. So yeah, they're supposed to also come back with some additional numbers about costs and things like that, because there was a lot of questions from the town administrations that were there about that. So yeah, it was, not a lot happened.
Yeah. And lastly, if, Councilman Merrill suggested we kind of do maybe a field trip with the water board, which we'll try to set up, or we take Green Canyon and show them a pressure relief valve or something like that. But I don't know if that's something council's interested in looking at our water tanks, looking at some stuff. If you want to talk about that and set it up, let me know, and we'll do something there.
I know in the past, former Mayor Byers, when new council members would come onto the council, she always would try and set something like that up with, you know, the water department, so if you're interested. Okay,
If you have any questions, that's what I have for an update.
okay. Thank you, lots going on. Any questions or comments for Administrator Aiken?
I was wondering if there was any updates on the, possibly putting the, short-term rentals on, like, the website, just the addresses and such?
I guess, do we wanna do that? I mean, we can do that.
I think we were, well, if we're able to, I think.
I mean, legally, is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know if we needed to check or
Um,
something.
Yeah, I'll get you an answer on that for sure.
Okay.
And I think that, just like addresses, right? I think
Just
that's,
address.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've
leave off
seen
the
that,
phone numbers.
like Jackson, I think, might do that,
Yeah,
or some of the other
they
do.
towns do, so.
And I don't know if, like, a phone number to the manager is a good idea too. I mean, or if we just directly
Well, that-
call Jim and then Jim.
That's supposed to be posted at the property, so that would be public information, so we could put it on.
Yeah, if they have a point of
I
contact.
mean, that's the point
Mhm.
to doing it online, is so that we can take it away from the house, because it's not playing out the way we
I
imagined.
think it should stay at the house, but then two places wouldn't hurt.
I don't think it's a good idea to have it posted on the house, because they're so small, they have to actually walk up to the house, and I just, going on someone's property for that is not a good idea.
Not as safe.
Yeah, and I think that most people weren't even aware of it, that had short-term rentals, but then, our SMO was kind of starting to enforce that, and then realizing like it's probably not doing anybody any good to have it posted like that. I guess it would be different if it was like a huge sign in their yard or something, so that people don't go on their property and read it, but.
Yeah,
Either that or move where the sign is.
probably benefits the SMO to just be able to walk up and get the number and call. But Jacob actually he told me this yesterday, he had a good idea saying, hey, why don't we have the SMO do an inspection when they apply for the, you know, turn an application to walk up and say, okay, your sign's in place, you're on the golf course, your sign's on the back kind of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I guess that's something we can do too.
I know other communities that have short-term rentals that also have like fire departments and things, you know, some of them require like a safety inspection where the fire chief would go and inspect the premises. Of course, we don't have that, but if, at a minimum, if we could potentially at least do like an exterior, you know, look-see that they've at least adhered to the signage requirements and can show that they're also supposed to post inside the house, you know, sort of a list of the basic, do not do fireworks, speed limit is 25 and that kind of, but I don't know how you get after that to see who's actually doing it. But anything we can do to improve the situation, I think that would be a good idea. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right, moving on, sorry, did I?
No.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Public Works Board, which was proposed as a combination to merge like the Roads Board and the Water Board, and Councilman Merrill did provide a draft ordinance that was sent out to the council members. So, and I believe the Water Board took that up. Oops, yes, you're on the wrong agenda, that's
Yep.
the last one. I don't know if there's any comments from the council on the draft ordinance, or if there's anything out of the Water Board. Did the Roads Board also help review the ordinance, and did they have any
did,
comments?
they made a motion, but I don't know if it was in the, I think it was in the minutes probably given.
Okay,
That was, they were proposing that,
Mhm.
the actual ordinance. And then the Water Board, I missed the time that they were actually discussing it, but I was told that they, were opposed to the actual.
Oh,
I
they're
don't-
opposed, the
Well,
road
they never
board?
saw the ordinance or anything, it was just the idea.
we should probably, if they haven't actually seen the document, send it to them as well. Are you all right if we do that,
I
or?
had it actually printed for them, but they had already posted it, so I was just like,
Okay.
okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time, but,
Okay,
but I also know like they're not the deciding factor, the only deciding factor. And I do feel like even just this past week of what poor Trevor's had to deal with some of the stuff with the water leak tests that just come up from some of the people on the Water Board, I think it'd be a good idea if the Road Board and Water Board were combined, even if it's just babysitting each other. I don't know how, you know, why it would be opposed. They didn't really give any good reasons.
Yeah, people hate change, we know
It's a
that,
thing.
every one of us hates change,
Yeah,
right?
and the loss of control maybe, but
Yeah.
I do feel like if more people are in looking at roads and water, that it's for the best.
So the only comment I had on the draft ordinance, and I know it was just like the first cut out of, that had as far as the proposed membership, 5 and up to 10, and I
Up to
think
10.
that that should be defined as a number, like 5 or 7
7.
or something like that.
Wasn't really sure what the council would like to see on
Mhm.
that, so that's why I kind of
Yeah, you left it.
broadened it. But I thought it should be more than 5,
Mhm.
like, just because the water and the roads are
Yes.
a lot of like,
Agreed.
research and looking into it and everything, so.
10 seems like a lot, but
Yeah, it
7
did,
or 8 seems like, you know, I had an odd number, 7's probably.
I
a
thought
good number.
7 would be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because odd for like voting
Yeah.
purposes too,
Totally.
helps.
My problem with combining the boards is you've got two totally different sets of expertise that are going on. Now, if you did combine them, then you'd probably have to have a water group and a road group. So it might be better off to have some kind of a coordinating meeting between the two boards periodically. Because I agree, roads are torn up by the water group, but the roads group doesn't do much with the water.
I think that's the idea, like, they would. If it's a public works, it would be, the 7 of them would be working on water and working on roads. And I feel like that,
But who out there in the community knows both water and roads?
no, that's what I'm saying, the combination is a better, like, I don't even know who on roads and who on water really knows either, I'll be honest.
I can
So-
tell you 2 on water that know water, because they're running operations. That's Dan and
Okay, I'll give you Dan,
the other guy,
Frank,
Frank.
I'll give you Dan.
Those 2 know water.
But I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't hurt for them also to be looking at roads. So I don't feel there's any reason why they shouldn't be combined.
I mean, as long as you have a certain amount of expertise, the point is you could educate.
Well,
That
that's
could be
also-
good in the end, but again, it's all about efficiency is what we had talked
Yeah.
about originally when I asked the question, why do it? And I think we need to do a better job of communicating that to both sides, because again, they're gonna resist change.
Well, I think also, like, the cross-education part of it, it's like I told the board as we were ending the meeting, that, like, that if they do have years of experience with our water system, that they should be sharing that with other people. And so the point would be, as the board is one, that the current road board members would be educated as well, and vice versa, and hopefully it would help the two, you know, the water and the roads work better
Mhm.
together. Because there are some things that are being missed, because I feel like the road board's doing one thing and water board's doing another.
So would the terms of everybody just be canceled if we did agree to combine it into a
Yeah.
public works, and then we'd start over and give new terms to people, or how do we stagger those as well?
I think the recommendation at the end of the draft was to just grandfather in the current terms of the respective members
And
from
that's
the
how we could
existing
keep it.
boards, and, I mean, but we could
Well, we
do
might
it any way we
adjust it.
would like to, I think,
Yeah.
whatever would make the most sense, because you don't want everybody expiring at the same time,
No.
right?
Yeah, so we might have to adjust a
Yeah.
little bit.
So,
Yeah, okay.
so, I think, especially since Councilman Toolson isn't here, what I'd like to do is, if we can put this topic on for our work session on the 9th, to get additional input, and then see where the council wants to go as far as with the ordinance and any changes, and then take it from there, if that's acceptable to everybody, because I don't think we're ready yet to move it forward, just because we're still kind of in the, you know, massaging the document and seeing where everybody wants to go with it. Okay? All right. Thank you, Councilman Merrill, for putting the draft together, or for you and the roads board doing that. Okay. All right, moving on, Public Works spending policy, which is something that Councilman Bitter drafted and sent out to everyone. So,
Again, draft, Don't- nobody get too excited, but it's there for your perusal and feedback. Again, we put it together with the idea that, hey, excess funding, if we had up to a certain amount, that they could use in situations where we've underspent on certain capital projects, this is how it would lay out. If there's, again, I just put some placeholders in there for more discussion than anything else, but any comment, I mean, I'd love some feedback if anybody, it hasn't gone to anybody other than those here plus Loretta, and that's it. It hasn't gone to the FAB or anybody else for review.
I mean, I didn't have any comments on section 4, the policy provisions,
Okay.
the not to exceed 50,000 any given calendar year. So you're saying or proposing that this policy would only authorize $50,000 for the entire year?
A calendar year.
Not like 50,000 in June and 50,000 in September.
That's how I wrote it.
Okay.
Because again, if you're gonna look at all, you could underspend a lot of projects.
Right,
And you can
right.
say, whoa, wait a minute, I got
Money all over the place.
$250,000. That's not the intent of this policy, in my opinion. So that's why I put it that way. This should be for quick action things that would allow the town to make good fiscal decisions for capital purchases.
So for example, like maybe, was it the vac truck that, we
Yeah, the
could have
vac truck
possibly
is-
gotten, but really hadn't planned to buy it and,
Couldn't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So, but anyway, that's, we can,
Okay.
if there's any suggested feedback, be glad to
I would
take it on and.
Like to have the finance advisory board look at it too, and you said they had
Yeah,
not seen it
no,
yet,
and
okay.
that's why I wanted to have this conversation first, see if there was any input before we send out a draft, okay?
So I think, the department heads should specify probably Public Works and our treasurer. I think that's way too broad.
Okay.
Primarily because we go through
Okay.
employees and the changes and everything.
I like that, I just went generic, but if
Yeah.
we wanna be specific,
I think it
that's
does
easy.
need to be
Yeah.
specific to our Public Works director and then by the treasurer, I would think.
Okay,
And also, I think $50,000, $25,000, I feel like it's a bit excessive. I don't think that amount should be spent unless we're all at least aware of it. So I don't know that it needs to be that high because especially just from the past issues that we've had with money being spent in a way that we shouldn't have been.
Can you be specific when you say that? Like,
Oh,
when,
sure, yeah, so we had a public works director who was spending money and then taking things home. And obviously a lot of what he was taking and spending money on was personal. And so I just feel like for us to keep transparency for our citizens and council, that no one should be able to just spend money.
Yeah, but you're mixing two things up here. This is for a specific purpose for the town, and what you were referring to was happening was just general purchases within the budget, nowhere near this amount, that then were disappearing.
they
I
were
don't
fraudulent,
really
yeah.
know the final amount, but I would also say like, this is supposed to keep that from happening, is the idea. My hope that it would actually keep money from just being spent.
No, because right now, anybody, I can go ahead, give you an example. I can go ahead and order 6 containers of toilet paper. 5 of them go here, 1 of them goes home. How are you gonna track that?
Well, I would hope that we start doing like inventory if that's becoming an issue too.
Yeah, but that's what was happening. That type of thing was happening.
So I think, in my mind, the intent of this policy is to enable us to have a little bit of flexibility to take advantage of capital purchases, situations when they come along, in the event that there is excess capital in a line that's already budgeted.
Right.
So not to just
Willy-nilly.
willy-nilly go spend money.
Yeah.
Which is the reason for the approvals.
Yes, so,
This actually, I mean, there's some accounting requirements when we do spend the money, so it's
Yep.
not just, hey, that money's gone, and we bought
I-
whatever. It does have requirements that we have to report back in a timely manner.
The reporting and auditing,
The treasurer.
I put in there specifically for that,
Yeah.
so that
To
there
the
is no,
treasurer and such.
So I would note too that the world's kind of changed, and I more than anybody know what was happening when I got here, and all the employees we could not trust are gone. And I can tell you that the guys we have now are world class. I don't think we will ever get this caliber of person. We gotta keep these guys here. They have the skills to do anything. We vetted these guys, and I can say that the guys and gals we have here have integrity, and I have no concerns with any of them. If I did, I'd be the first person to move them along or to call the sheriff's office. We have a new treasurer who, and if we're missing a penny, she's all over it. I'm here now, this position wasn't here to oversee what goes on. I feel that our two ladies sitting next to me too are very good, and we communicate well, and there's a lot of checks and balances here that didn't exist before.
And I'm not saying it has to do with like honesty of the people that we actually currently have, but it's like you said, we have to keep them, but I don't know that we will forever. And so I do appreciate at the end that it did have like an annual review for it. I just also think that like I don't even feel comfortable having the ability to spend 50 grand without speaking to other people. So that's all I'm saying, is that I just think the amount is excessive. I do want our public works to have the flexibility to spend money if they, see if they have a need, but I just don't want it to be excessive, is all I'm saying.
and I get the department head piece or the, that bottom layer, cause 15,000 is a chunk of money, right? And not to get the town administrator or the mayor involved in those discussions. Do you have kind of an idea of where dollar
Well, I
wise?
thought it was originally going to be 15 to 25,000, so it's about double what I thought it would be. Especially if it's more than that, I feel like the council should be involved and aware that we have a need that big.
but remember too, this is saying for a given calendar year, so sure, it could potentially be a $50,000 purchase, but it's really, like, it could be two $10,000 purchases, and then, it's a cumulative thing, so it's not necessarily just a $50,000 purchase.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
I guess it's
So.
just like even cumulatively spending that. I think also though, I was under the impression like if we did it like 15 to 20,000, that it would not have not exceed a certain number, only because that takes away their flexibility too. So I'm not
Well,
understanding.
Yeah,
I do feel like it needs to be in there if
I know,
it's
it's-
$50,000, but I
It's a
guess
trade-off.
that was what I thought we were doing it so they could have flexibility too, but yet it wasn't like money was being spent.
yeah, I'm thinking multiple items up to the 50,000 total, whereas, yeah, I get it, and not sure, I don't know
And is that 50,000 for like,
the total year.
I understand, but, or is that just for the mayor's?
No, that's the
Or the
total amount.
Administrator? Okay.
So if a department head has a $5,000 purchase, that goes against the 50, now it's only 45,000 remaining for that calendar year. Now, that's what I've proposed. If there's a better way of doing this, I'd love to hear it, but I kind of modeled this after just a corporation. You know, how we would do a funding
Yeah.
policy.
Well, let me try to, because like I said, this is kind of new, what I've heard about this, it'll be still a multiple agreement. If something comes up, again, I'm here to save money, I'm not here to spend, but we have to spend a little bit to get the world to go. But like I said, if there's something out there, whatever it is, then if I find it, then it go to Trevor, then go to Loretta, and then to the mayor. And if we all agree upon it, then yes, I don't want it to where I can just say, oh, I want that, and nothing, and never tell nobody. I don't operate that way. It ain't my money, it's the people's money, and that's the way I operate.
True.
You know, that's the way I've always been.
Well-
So if whatever works out is fine, but I'd rather see, if I have anything to say so, is a multiple agreement to spend X amount of dollars for whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I went with 50, just because I
Yeah.
know there might be more than one
Yeah.
opportunity that presents itself.
Yep.
You know, 225s, 110, 125. I just, that's what we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think we can all, obviously after the first, we could try this, and after the first year, see if we need to tweak it. It's a policy, it's not an ordinance.
Right.
So that's, I guess, that's the other part of it. We can take 2 steps forward, and if we have to, we can take 1 step back. If it didn't work the way we thought it would.
So I would like to get the input from the finance board,
Okay.
just as they may have a completely different take on what's appropriate.
Okay.
So we're not ready for prime time with it yet, but I think it's a good start.
I
And
like the written part that it needs to be presented in writing, because then it just allows at least for it to be documented.
And that's part of that audit, making sure that all that documentation is there, and I'm sure it will be, but that, yes. It gives them the path, here's what I need to do. So, okay.
all right, any other comments or questions on this first draft?
I'll send that out to the FAB then this
Thank
week.
you, appreciate it. Okay, let's move on. Next discussion item, resolution for the Chip Seal Road Improvement Plan, which was a document that should have been sent out. So the rationale behind this is we, as a town council, at our, it's been I guess it was a work session in July. We did a vote and motion and vote in the work session to move ahead with the chip seal project. And so I think it would be appropriate for us as a town council to, at a regular meeting, basically just reiterate our support of that decision in a resolution that can be in front of the public in a regular meeting, since even though we don't get a whole lot of people at the regular meetings, a lot of times we'll get more residents there, and it will also be part of the packet that goes out that's on the website, so that someone's just not going through meeting minutes to find that vote and what happened there. So that was sort of the method or the rationale behind this document. So does anybody have any comments or, questions about us doing this at the September meeting? And we can certainly double check, make sure we've got the right numbers in there. They were just pulled from the budget as far as what we had budgeted.
Right.
So, okay. And I think Loretta had looked at it too. So, all right. There's no questions on that, then let's move on. Next item, and I believe I see Tom out there. We have, the next item is the grants and town commons discussion item and the Vista Park proposal. So that was also sent out, and I don't have it in front of me here, but the idea is that in 2019, the Parks and Landscaping Committee, I believe, put together, or part of NRB put together a possible plan for the property across the street here as far as making it into a park. And then we've talked as a town council about sort of calling it the town commons and what would we want to see there. Probably needs to be put this back in front of the public and get some comment at some point. But for now, there are some grant opportunities out there that Trevor's been working with Tom on. I don't know if you want to talk about those, or you're going to put Tom on the spot to walk through it.
Tom made a trip, so if you'd like to, we'd love to hear from you. You've been very, very helpful. Tom's been great. I appreciate his help. So if you want to give some comments, we appreciate it, sir.
If it's okay, I'll sit here and talk
That's
from here. If you want.
perfectly fine.
Fundamentally, we've looked at 3 grants, the first of which will be the Wyoming 250. If we add a little bit of artwork that creates or is related to their mission, showing how the last 250 years of history in Wyoming affects the USA 250. So, and that's $25,000 that can be used to essentially put artwork on a shelter for the bus stop, picnic shelter in the park, artwork that we want to put in the park. I don't know how much sculptures cost, but I'm pretty sure 25 would be eaten up real quick.
Yep. That's my thought too.
One of the big things that can be done with this that might make it more impactful is adding the QR codes that will take, someone who looks at a piece of art can scan the code and go into a web page. And it also allows us to link to other web pages. Part of the mission statement for Wyoming 250 and USA 250 is collaborative effort. So it ties in nicely with that. Behind that will be the hometown grants. Hometown grants are done by T-Mobile. They look at creating placemaking. What that means, I'm not real positive because I'm too old. But essentially, it's a place for community. And I think the sense of community here is already strong, but it would be something that would help maintain it. So I think we fit their criteria. The funding criteria on that, it's $50,000. So and we fit all the criteria points. So what we're doing as far as a public park, creating a place for community and community engagement, involvement, essentially, as Trevor and I talked a little bit, involving local schools, local artists for the Wyoming 250, we're now broadening that engagement and participation. The catch-all is more along the lines of the business-ready community grants, which seems kind of odd because we don't have a lot of businesses here. However, they do have criteria for recreational facilities. So a park with a band shell, a pavilion, something that would allow us to call it a recreational facility that supports jobs, supports business. That grants up to $3 million. We can roll everything into one. They'll give us $50,000 for planning, and the rest, depending on what we need, up to $3 million. The proviso is that we have to have a 25% matching. So if we add up what's already, I understand is already been set aside is 35, 75 in the other two grants, we have more than enough to do a park through the Business Ready Community Grant Loan Program.
So the other two grants can be used as like money.
And matching funds.
Part of it.
That's-
But I see here the application deadline is like in just a few days
Yeah.
for that business ready.
When we're rolling the Business Ready Community is due February. They have conflicting dates.
Oh, so that's not, okay, so it's February now
Yeah,
of
it's-
26?
They have conflicting dates between their application and their website.
Oh, okay.
We've had to reach out to them and find out.
I was gonna say, yikes.
Rolling the planning grant into the body of the grant itself.
Okay.
And when are the other two? I think you said when they were due, but I
The
couldn't remember.
250th, I think, is December 31st, but that one, we have an excellent chance of receiving that grant, because there's not been very many applications, and I talked to the Star Valley Arts Council today about it. They helped Thane with their application, and I talked to an artist that lives one street off of the ranch who was very interested in helping, so that one, very good chance of receiving it, but the tie-in's the more difficult part on that.
And the hometown grants, they typically get about 500 applications per cycle, and they give 50 grants.
Not
So
too
it's about a
bad.
10% shot on that one,
Yeah.
which is
What it's-
pretty good for grants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I did, I brought this up with the planning commission last night too, just to give them a heads up about it, and they were supportive of, you know, the idea of trying to go after grants to help facilitate a park, you know, project over there, and we did talk a little bit about putting, you know, the previous park proposal designs back out in front of the public, and we could even do that as part of, I mean, that's already part of the master plan update process that's ongoing, so we could certainly use that as far as the public input that's coming for that.
Any
To help us.
expenses related to that can be covered by the hometown.
Okay, that's good to know too, so. So what does the council want to do here, and what would we need to do to facilitate? The first one, obviously, is this America 250 or the semi-quincentennial grant. I guess that's the first domino to fall, essentially.
Yep.
That's the highest percentage of
Getting,
success.
right.
The
And,
timeline, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
The timeline that we have to like actually use the grant money by?
By July 4th with the
The-
semi-quincentennial.
So if we got it in February of 2026, then we need to,
All third party.
I don't know if that's, is that a feasible timeline for us?
None of your guys.
So I think,
Third party.
and that would go toward the phase 1 part of the plan you have here.
It's not like the whole thing.
No, he's got it
no.
broken out in
So we can
phases.
just do the phase 1 and, okay.
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think we're going to take it on.
We aren't even gonna receive funding on the Business Ready Community Grant
Yeah.
until 90 days after submission.
Okay.
So in that first phase too is when the proposal is to look at creating, the bus stop and incorporating some artwork there, and brought it up, or mentioned we should talk about your bus stop, question, because it's in here as well.
Yeah, which, I mean, is great.
It's a place to start.
Yeah, and I don't want to sidetrack from the grant discussion, because I think this is really important for us to get the commons area moving. But, it's not just the bus stop at the first responder.
No.
We are having some major issues all the way from Clark Lane over to
Mhm.
Harmon. I think it's becoming a safety issue, and kind of put it on the back burner, and I'm getting concerned for children's safety and the bus driver's safety. And then also like drop off, whoever is dropping off, like safety that way. There's a lot of congestion, and honestly, we can't count on the sheriff to always be here, or deputy even. So I think we need to take some steps for the town to keep them safe. And there's a lot of places, and especially once it snows, it makes it even worse, so. And I appreciate putting it into the grant,
Mhm.
but I also know, like, we've been working on the commons since I started, so at least 3 years trying to get an idea going. So I don't feel like a bus stop can be delayed just for a grant.
Well, if we go forward with this, semi-quincentennial grant and have this phase 1, as the proposal, then we could at least get a bus stop going here. I know that doesn't solve the larger problems or concerns that around town potentially. But it seems like at least one way to get after the bus stop and to start doing something with what's next door. So we probably need to have a broader discussion about bus stops and safety, and if there's things that need to happen with, I don't know, where people are parking. I mean, I haven't seen what the
Yeah.
exact issues are.
Do we know how many stops in the town there are for the
I
buses?
can't remember the exact stops.
But is
but
it like 25? Is
No,
it fewer?
no,
It's
not that many, I
10?
don't think. It's more than 10, I bet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so somewhere
We
between.
have, I don't know how many you guys have down on Plat 4 and 5.
We asked Lincoln County School District 2 years ago to give us a list of where they were having bus stops. I haven't seen it yet,
The transportation.
the
yeah.
transportation
I
group.
think because they also said in that meeting, it's up to the town to make,
Here's
like,
some.
provision
There's
for
some.
each stop.
Sorry, it's
So
too
I
small.
think that's why it
This is their
wasn't.
bus stops for Star Valley Ranch this year.
So all
These are the
little-
routes,
All these
yeah.
little dots are individual
Yeah, like,
stops.
see, here's the town right here. Sorry, we're looking at
Okay.
the map
No,
of the
it's
bus
a
thing.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
There's quite a few.
I mean,
okay. But that
like,
gives us
just on
something to look
Vista,
at.
Mhm.
like, there was 18 kids picked up at Vista and Alpine Way. There was 13 kids picked up right here at the first responder building. And then you have drop-off as well, so drop-off is usually not as congested, but definitely pickup is. It could even be just that we make a policy, like part of our snow policy is that we are pushing snow back at certain stops. So that there's
Yeah.
place for even the bus to kind of get off a little bit the road, or not off the road, but just over. So I don't
I know our guys prioritize the bus route for some.
That's first and foremost.
Oh,
We
yeah,
request
no,
a bus stop.
they do, I'm trying to say that we need maybe some rules where they're, like, even talking to homeowners where they can push the snow back even more. I mean, I know they're doing a good job on their part, but they're only doing what they are able to do. That's why I'm saying as a council, if we could make some changes and requests, since obviously we can't purchase every lot, but there's a lot of lots that are empty around a lot of the drop-offs and pickups, so we could adjust and do something that way. The Clark Lane one is very concerning. I don't know if anybody drives that way when there's a bus coming or going, but, I mean, they're letting kids off that road, and it is blind spots and everything, so if we can do something to help make it safer, I just think we should be making those changes.
The question becomes is where can we as a town, right, meaning logistically, on site, can we make a bus stop in those spots, right, that are the most risky?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we can definitely take measures to
Yeah.
make it safer. So
Okay.
if we have to request a bus stop to be moved so that it's in a safest place, I mean, the transportation, the gentleman that visited us actually said that was fine, they just need to be aware, and a lot of the places they pick up and drop off have to do with, like, if there's kindergartners, they have to be picked up within a certain mileage of their home. And so that's how a lot of these were, like, decided, but that changes as well, so.
So we probably want to kind of do a, not assessment, but sort of look at where, if you, I know, because you have kids that ride the bus.
I'm just at one stop.
Yeah, and you're on
Yeah,
one
yeah.
stop. So, but if you know of ones like immediately, we should take a look at these, and is it something we should address with the school district as well?
I've talked to the bus barn about it, and their answer was anything you do would be great. They have no feedback. We looked at lots that came up for sale last year. They're expensive, and realistically, the only place I think we could put a bus stop right now is across the street.
Right,
We don't-
right.
I don't think we're working any of the road easements without some kind of agreement with property owners.
If that's something we can do, like take a step in that, because I understand, like it's somebody's property, but like some of those lots are empty, and I don't think they're going to be opposed if at least a discussion is had with them to be like, hey, for safety, can we push snow on an empty lot 20 feet into your lot so that, you know, people can park there or whatever. I just think it might be something that we need to start doing, so.
The only problem with that is, and that's what we're running into now, is that they've been, that, yeah, you can put snow in my property, all this, da-da-da-da, and then they come back and say, no, we want it completely cleaned up.
Yeah, get all that
Not
gravel
the
out of there.
town's cleaned up, but the others. They're wanting us planting grass, they're wanting us to do this, that, and the other. And just talking, I know in the wintertime, and I've looked at this, I've followed the buses around, there are 16 bus stops winter. And when they do, just, like, you know, she said, is they do it on muddy strength. They stop at, on North Forest. They stop right in the middle, and me with the blade, it's having to stop and watch the kids go up and down, all the way to the top of North Forest. I mean, that would be perfect for a bus stop there, because they won't even attempt to go up there. They stop right on the road, or off of Clark, right in the middle, on that hill, where you can't even see the bus as you come over. The bus just stops right in the middle of the road, you know. So, yeah, there's something the council does, us as a town needs to look at this. Because I know on the meeting the other night, you know, there was some comments that try to get families in here with kids. Well, it's going to eventually happen, that sooner or later, we need to do something. Because it is, all the guys, I tell all my guys, bus is priority, you see them to stop, you know. But that's us, you've got a lot of residents that don't, they'll blow right by the bus at night.
Yeah.
You know, so it is something that we need to look at.
Okay.
It is very much
Maybe,
sad.
like, the agreement would be in writing eventually, but like, if we could at least have a discussion, but definitely agreement, because I don't want it to come back on the town like, you know, we're trying to do work safety here and then have people come back and we have to do landscaping for them. I don't think that's fair at all. So it definitely has to be a written agreement anyway by the end of it, but if a discussion can be had with some of these property owners, I just, you know, I mean, because they're not purposely destroying anything, so I feel like if something were to happen, it's kind of on the homeowner. I know they don't think that's okay, but if it's a written agreement too, it might change it. Or we just, I mean, I agree, I don't want us to have to pay a ton of money for lots by any means, but at some point, when we're doubling our budget, that might be something that we have
Yeah.
to invest in.
We, me and Trevor talked about this earlier, you know, when it first kind of started, and you can get those buildings like it's already built, you know, and they put a bench in them, I know you was involved in it, and it's something that we take a load of a set of forks, pick the building up and move it, you know, nothing, it's permanent. A couple loads of rock, make it look nice, set that building down, and if we do have to move it or whatever, it can be easy instead of a permanent foundation, then you got all that to deal with. So there's options, you know, the council can look at. And them buildings ain't that bad,
Right.
you know, that don't cost that much. you know.
So probably for the town, we should look at, I mean, because I know there's a lot of bus stops, but the ones that we think or are identified as the ones that really need the most help soonest.
Yeah.
And then maybe see what we could do with those.
Prioritize them,
Yeah.
prioritize the list, and then,
'Cause I feel like that would be more of a handful, and then we could also kind of use it as testing to see what benefits it. If it's the building that makes people realize, oh, this is the bus stop, or if it only takes signage,
Right,
or
Yeah.
more parking area, or whatever. Because I know, like, a lot of parents do drive their kids to the bus stops,
Yeah.
because especially in the winter, it's so cold. So that congestion is a problem, for sure. I was gonna ask, is the road at the first responder building, what was the purpose to that? Because I notice now people aren't parking there, but then they're parking in front of the first responder building. So I didn't know if that road was,
Oh, you mean the one that we put in this year?
yeah,
That was to facilitate, the trucks,
The trucks,
for the Vista project.
oh, like a turnaround.
Yeah, so they
kind
have
of.
to back
Okay.
up and, yeah, so,
I don't know if putting another, well, do they still use it? Do you guys still use it?
yes.
Yeah,
And we're
Oh.
gonna continue to use it
Yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
paving and,
we're gonna try to stop over here,
I see,
you
okay.
know, because if that's open, people park, they do
Yeah.
trailers, all that, so that's why we decided to do this,
Yeah.
is one way around.
and if we're gonna do a park,
Well, there's
that
no sign.
entrance, Taylor brought some, that doesn't make any sense to have this big road kinda right in the middle. That's
Yeah.
your best
Yeah.
area to put grass or whatever.
right,
yeah,
okay.
So-
that would stop it. You would think.
So,
So that
on
will
the,
invalidate the plans that have already been done.
So there's some concerns with the plans though. It was an open ditch out there, and when that well house kicks on, it discharges 3 minutes of water. You got 1,000 gallons of water running down there pretty quick.
2,000 in 3 minutes, dumps 2,000 gallons.
And a toddler to get swept away.
Right.
So they piped it, which is more safe now, but we don't wanna put stuff on top of that pipe in the event we need to dig it up or something.
Is that the one that's back up against the hill there?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so I think, I mean, these notional plans, I mean, they're from 2019, right? So the whole thing needs to be relooked. I think there's still some merit though to, as far as kind of pivoting back to the grant real quick, that this phase one, I think, is a bit of low-hanging fruit and that we could, I don't know if the council wants to do anything tonight or we want to wait to make
Quick-
any kind of decision.
Question for you. In order to get the 250-year grant, we've got to have some kind of artwork, et cetera. How much artwork is required?
It's undefined at this point.
Okay,
Yeah, it's loosely written, it just has to, something has to be tied into the 250th anniversary, so.
okay. So is that something we could do on the side of this first response center? Or we got to put a new, like a pavilion or something up where it could be?
It's pretty open, you can do it, it's pretty open. So, not a lot of details in that one, other than the tying it into the 250th is the key.
Because the simplest thing for you to do over there, so you can keep your options open for the future, is just put a sprinkling system and grass in, along with some minimal thing, and to get your artwork, then that leaves you open to do whatever you need to do in the future.
Well, I think,
And I'd say, let's go ahead and see what we can do.
The issue is we should move forward to apply for the grants,
Yeah.
right? I mean, why would we not?
Right, I think the overall site plan and stuff needs work, but there's also opportunity in some of these grants to do that part as well. What is this one, I mean, it's a bit down the road, the feasibility studies and those sorts of things, right? But when we get to the more infrastructure-y portions of it,
Yeah.
so this doesn't have to be the final plan type
No.
thing. It can change once we get the grant?
Yep.
Yes.
just kind of give them the basic idea of what we want to do in this first phase.
And even with the second grant, the hometown grants, as long as you write into the grantors with your changes, your proposed changes in your planning, that's,
Yeah. I
there
say
is
go ahead.
flexibility in that.
Flexibility, good.
Okay. Do we want to do a motion to move forward with phase one of the grant specific to the semi-quincentennial opportunity?
I'd make that motion.
Okay, can I get a second?
I second it.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, great. We're moving out with phase one. We might make some adjustments along the way, but I think that's exciting. As far, for the bus stops, I do want to put this on the agenda for our next work session too, and see what we can figure out in between as far as, you know, this bus stop and that one might be the ones we need to really
Yeah, how
focus on
can we
first.
create that priority
You
list?
gave us some numbers that I've never seen before.
As
Can
far
we
as the
get those
kids.
kinds of numbers as the location and the number of kids throughout the whole town?
Yeah, I believe that
Well,
well,
this-
that's just what I saw.
Yeah, but the school district should have,
They know
Well, I
how many
think it's the
kids are in each spot.
transportation.
yeah,
Yeah, but the Lincoln County
okay,
Transportation, people have all of that.
The bus bar's got that,
okay.
yeah.
So we can
Okay.
ask for
So
that.
is there a way to get that?
Yes, I think we can do that.
And that'll make the next job easier,
Yeah.
much easier.
Do you want me to call, or do you guys, I don't care, I just wanted to make sure it was,
Yeah, who has the action?
Trevor, can you add that too, or Zach, whoever, however you want to do it, okay. Okay. All right, sorry, just making some notes here. Okay, very good. All right, any other questions right now on bus stops or grant stuff? I know we'll be talking more about the grant process in the coming months, but I think we're comfortable with at least moving out on this first phase. Okay, I think that is all that's on the agenda. Moving on to matters from the mayor and council. Councilman Merrill, any other topics? No?
that was it.
Okay. Councilman Ellis?
Yeah. Natural Resources Board had quite a list of issues that they needed me to get some information on. One, they're very interested in working on enhancing the entrance to the town, the Vista and the Muddy String area. And how wide is our easement on the side of the road? And does the town, I'm thinking more, I'm assuming on the south side, we go beyond the walkway. Does anybody know?
Just a little bit past the sign,
Past the sign?
just a little bit, you can see, I think the pin is still there,
Okay.
on that side of the
On
road.
the south side.
And then as you come up, that's not in the town, but do we have anything on that side?
About the tree line right there.
About
That's
the tree line.
here.
Okay, what's on the north side?
On this side,
Yeah,
where the red barn is,
Uh-huh.
if you go down there and see our sign and our PRV, that's right there, that PRV is right on the borderline of our property.
okay.
And right behind the flagpole. And then it juts out a little bit, coming on back up.
There's a
And then
small
as it
amount
come
of
out,
space there.
as it comes up, is it behind the trees?
It's just right there, right behind them, Olivia, you can still see
Okay.
the property lines there, yes.
So the person that bought the commercial properties won't be, with commercial properties, I know the ordinance requires it to be landscaped,
Yeah.
but it will not be landscaped past the trees?
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
Because that's kind of our little snow storage, we don't have a lot right there. I mean,
Okay.
Okay,
you know.
so that'll give me a chance to deal with it on. They've got water to the south side down by the sign. They got that from Stewart,
Yep.
but they're interested in getting water on the north side. Now, I do remember that we had sprinkling systems down there at one time, and that we allocated some funds a couple of years ago to redo it, but it never got done. So where are we on that portion?
When they did the new road right here.
I was afraid of
It
that.
got ripped out, and then with all the work right here in front of town, all the sprinkler systems, there's a box right here at the flagpole.
Yep.
That water has been cut off because all of it's busted when all the work was done around.
So it'd have to be redone if you
It'll
want.
have to be redone all the way
Totally
down.
redone all the way through and
Yes.
down.
All the way
Okay,
down.
now there's a box down there just before the red barn
Yep,
that's got a 2-inch pipe in it.
yep.
That's what, for the commercial properties?
It may be, or it could have been back in the day with the skewers.
Yeah, because both valves are open on it. I looked at it the other day.
Yeah, but
There's no water in it.
no water to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
that's helpful.
Are you envisioning this waterfall mountain that comes down?
No,
Town of Star Valley
Yes.
Ranch?
they want to make the entrance
I
to
know,
the town
attractive.
better than it is now.
Yeah.
And they need water.
And they keep going back to, at some point, we were watering the trees with a drip watering system
Okay.
down through there. That leads to the next one. They're also not real happy about the landscaping around Town Hall. So the question came up with, there's nothing in the budget for landscaping, but there's money in the budget for Town Hall. Can any of that be used for landscaping? Or in our sprinkler system?
Money in the budget for town hall.
Yep.
Well, it would be in the operating expense budget, which would necessitate that it's not capital.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
means that it doesn't have a, it's gotta stay below the $5,000 threshold that we've kind of arbitrarily decided on.
Okay.
Right? There's nothing to say what you would spend that operating expense on unless you've already got it designated for something else.
Well, I think it's just for maintenance of this building and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Building
But
maintenance. Yeah.
I have proposed several options to the NRB, specifically to Deb, and she comes in about every month or so to rediscuss. But, we could just do one of those, fiber hoses, whatever, you can drive over that, it won't destroy the hose from the meter, the Stewart's meter across the road. Because they don't need water all the time, it's just a little bit at a time. She's proposed speed bumps, can't put them in an intersection, not legal. Just an idea I discussed with the mayor just today was there's meter pits on those commercial lots, and I could try to work something out with whoever owns those lots, if we, could put a meter on one of those.
Well, they've got people that are willing to go ahead and use NRB funds to buy the pipe and lay the pipe. But I don't know whether that
I don't
makes
think,
any sense or not.
I don't think they could lay the pipe without our crew doing that. And I understand the building doesn't look great, but just keep in mind, we're doing major projects.
Yes,
And
I
when we take
understand.
time to do the small ones, we can't do the big ones.
I just
So-
got assigned to come and ask the questions.
I've discussed these multiple times, I'm talking
Yeah.
like every month, we probably get someone fired up and you're chewing into me for not doing it, but
Yeah.
I've discussed a lot of options, and it comes back every month like we never had a conversation.
Okay.
So we can do anything you want, the guys we have can do anything. So just let us know what you wanna do, but we may have to postpone other projects to do this one, and I agree, the town hall doesn't look good, the weeds got sprayed twice, the environmentally friendly weed killer didn't work very well.
Yeah, it did
understand.
not.
The lawn looks terrible, I get it,
Yeah,
the
that,
entrance to the mail center doesn't look very good, we need to do some concrete work, there's a lot, our list of things to do is huge.
I understand. That leads to the next question that they had. There was no roadside weed spraying this year.
No, there
It was
was, there
roadside
was.
weed.
There was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It just didn't work very well.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take that back.
They did mine, I know that.
I did notice like because I didn't think they had done up at my road, but they did. It's just that whatever that product they used, some of those weeds are mean. They
Yeah.
like, they were like, ha, I'm not gonna die.
The Roundup
They
won't kill
kinda
the
did, but
thistle.
not all the way. Yeah, it was, whew.
We put out something asking residents if they have allergies or didn't want things sprayed, so there were public notices and,
Okay,
if you were paying attention,
Yeah.
it got done, but.
I can't kill thistle with Roundup. It kicks me off.
What else? Was
That's
that
it from NRB.
So, I mean, I would suggest that, and I know Trevor was gonna, he's got this on his lengthy list of things, but if we check with, the owner of the commercial property about potentially, you know, even if it's temporarily putting a meter there so we can run water to water the front entrance, to let NRB know we can do that, and is that satisfactory, and then can they move forward with what they wanna do?
They're not 100% sure what they want to do.
Well, and I think that's part of the
But they
problem,
want to do
too.
something,
Yeah, so let's try that and see where we end up,
okay?
okay? Anything else? No?
Nope.
Okay, Councilman Bitter?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, so we had planning commission, I just really quickly wanted to let the council know. So we did talk to, or go through the Star Valley Ranch Association's rezone and plat amendment request, and just for the council's information, on the 10th of September, when the planning commission meets next time, they are going to make a recommendation to approve or deny the plat amendment portion of that. So the council will be seeing that in October. And then the zoning, rezoning process is kind of following behind that. So the council won't actually see anything from the planning commission on the rezone request until the January meeting, because it's a longer timeline.
After it gets rezoned, can you have them supply you with a copy of the new deed?
Yes, yes. I'll make a note. All right, any saved rounds? 'Cause that's all I had for this evening. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion we adjourn.
Okay, can
I'll
I get a
second.
second? It's been moved by Councilman Bitter and second by Councilman Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned at 7:27 PM.